Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasuni Balachandra.
Hello there, very good evening indeed. I'm Javed Bongzo and we begin with the headlines of tonight's news.
The President tells state ministry secretaries that immediate results are needed as work has commenced from the bottom. The vote on account is to be presented to Parliament tomorrow. Former director of the State Intelligence Service tells the Presidential Commission that maximum effort had been taken to prevent the occurrence of the Easter Sunday attack. The police apprehends 42 kilos of heroin in Ambatale. Venerable Vedanigama Vimalatissa Thera appears before the media.
Now for those and other stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has told secretaries to the state ministries that work in all sectors have commenced from the lowest position. He adds that therefore what is needed at present is to obtain speedy results. The President has made these remarks handing over letters of appointment to the secretaries of state ministries at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. The state ministries have been created giving prominence to the well-being of the people and economic development of the country. The secretaries have been informed that they have a significant responsibility and a task in fulfilling the targets. The President has also instructed the new state secretaries to go before the people and to resolve their problems and overcome challenges. The President said that we mostly look only at the top and we neglect to look below. The bottom is forgotten most of the time. The President further said that they have directly handed over the institutions and allocations. He also said that the state ministers will be briefed on an yearly basis on how they implement their plans. This is a big responsibility on the secretaries as well. The President added that they must always go to the people and select their problems in order to grant solutions. He also said that a big question among the general public of today is their lack of confidence on politicians. The second problem is the lack of confidence on state service. The President further said that a country is being run on these two sources. The President also said that people's problems are very simple and very few. He added that around 70% of their problems are based on personal issues. They include a bus for the road construction, water problems on deeds. The President added that it is not appropriate to view these problems by merely sending circulars. People engaged in agriculture, plantation industries and in other mining industries run the government and the country. Everything will come to an end with the collapse of agriculture. The President added that they are actually providing water and fertilizer not to the farmer but on behalf of the country. Without the provision of these facilities, it would be impossible to hand over salaries, let alone to maintain public service. He further said that like those engaged in the clay industry, produce pots and pans and bring foreign exchange to the country, we cannot do this by staying in offices. The country relies on them. The same is true on those engaged in the fisheries industry. The President has inquired as to how much effort they are exerting to give a guaranteed price for paddy and rice. He added that if they are unable to provide water and fertilizer at the correct time, their services are of no use. The President also said that the people are willing to work. However, they should be given proper leadership. He also said that they must see the results of their endeavors. Lack of commitment is essential. There is no use of putting plans if filed. Due to numerous factors today, simple problems have been turned into a complex nature. People are looking forward speedy solutions to their problems. The President further said that 25% of the serious problems encountered during the regime of President Mahinda Rajapaksa do not exist today. Those days the country was burned with a war and other serious economic problems. These problems were being able to resolve as they realized them and focus attention within a period of 3 years. The President further said that he wants to fully resolve the elephant-human conflict within a period of 2 years. He has asked not to fear, to take courage in decisions. He added that as a secretary, he took correct decisions on behalf of the country. He was able to become the president of the country after going through many court cases. If you take a wrong decision, you will always go wrong. Therefore, correct decisions will have to be taken according to a conscience while engaging in performing duties. Correct decisions will always lead to happiness. The President has advised all to take correct decisions without fear and promised to extend his fullest cooperation in this connection.
ආර්ථිකෙත් තිබුණා යුද්ධයක් තිබුණා මේවා ඔක්කොම අවුරුදු 3ක් ඇතුළත විසඳන්න පුළුවන්.
Vote on account to approve 1,747 billion rupees as government expenditure for the period from September to December of this year is to be presented to Parliament tomorrow. It has already been entered into the parliamentary agenda. Credit amounting to 1,300 billion rupees are to be obtained from local and foreign institutions to recover these expenditure. Treasury bills amounting to a further 750 billion rupees are scheduled to be issued. Majority of the funds amounting to 194.3 billion rupees have been reserved for the Ministry of Public Administration, provincial councils and local government. The second largest amount of 174 billion rupees has been reserved for the Ministry of Defence. The third largest amount, amounting to 136.5 billion rupees, has been allocated for the Ministry of Finance. The amount allocated for the Ministry of Health is 73.2 billion rupees. A sum of more than 70 billion rupees has also been reserved for the Ministry of Education. The vote on account is scheduled to be approved in Parliament after a two-day debate scheduled to be held tomorrow and the day after.
The United Kingdom says it is prepared to strengthen relations with Sri Lanka under the new government. Acting UK High Commissioner Lisa Vanstall made these remarks when she met Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Temple Trees this morning. Ambassador Vanstall and the Prime Minister have discussed on several fields in which both countries could act together. Mrs. Vanstall has also extended best wishes to the Prime Minister on the excellent victory achieved by the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna at the general election. The acting High Commissioner added that Minister of International Trade of the United Kingdom Ravi Jayawardena is also eagerly interested to strengthen trade relations with Sri Lanka. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has stated that the main objective of the new government is to engage in economic development in the post-COVID-19 pandemic era. The Prime Minister further stated that stern attention is being focused to enhance business relations and on the progress of the small and medium-scale enterprises, as well as to increase investments to uplift agriculture and to eliminate poverty. Ambassador of Palestine in Sri Lanka, Dr. Suhaiyar M.H. Asaid, has also met Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees this morning. On this occasion, the envoy extended wishes of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to the Prime Minister. The Palestinian ambassador also said that they will never forget the cooperation extended by the Sri Lankan Prime Minister to the Palestinians. The State of Palestine had presented the highest award of the country, titled the Star of Palestine, to the then President Mahinda Rajapaksa when he was engaged in a tour in the Palestinian area in year 2014. In the same year, the government of Sri Lanka had donated $1 million to the Palestine government. The Prime Minister and the Palestine envoy have focused attention in today's discussion on bilateral trade and investments, as well as on sectors in which Sri Lanka-Palestine cooperation could be further strengthened. Ambassador of Afghanistan in Sri Lanka has also called on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Temple Trees this morning. At this occasion, talks were conducted between the Prime Minister and the Afghan envoy on expanding trade relations. They have also focused attention on commencing direct flights between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan. The Afghan ambassador has also conveyed the greetings of the President of Afghanistan, Ashraf Ghani, and former President Hamid Karzai to the Prime Minister.
Former Director of the State Intelligence Service, Nilantha Jayawardena, said that though certain people closed their shops for the new year, and though certain people travelled abroad to the vacation, and though certain people slept after receiving pre-warning notices from the intelligence, he worked out to prevent the series of attacks as maximum as he could. He recorded these statements before the Presidential Commission yesterday. He further said that the real aspect of certain officials who worked with him in the fields of security for years has been revealed after the attack, and also said that he is regretting for working with them. This was his 18th day of recording statements before the Presidential Commission. President's Counsel Shanaka Ranasinghe, who is on behalf of the former Chief of National Intelligence Sisira Jayakodi, inquired whether the witness called up the Secretary of the President in order to get the support of the Army to secure the public security, as he was aware with clear facts on the 20th of April in regard of an attack which was planned on or before the 21st April. Responding aggressively, witness inquired that Is he the person to inform all officials, as he is questioned every time regarding whether he informed the President, the Prime Minister, the Defence Secretary, the IGP and the Chief of the National Intelligence? And he also said that now he is questioned regarding whether he informed the Secretary of the President. He further said that they will next question him on why he has not announced the entire country. Also, he inquired that is Nilantha the person who has to collect information of the State Intelligence Service, convey messages, issue letters, and also inquired why other officials are being paid. He also said that every official has his or her respective duties and responsibilities. He said that if everything which is responsible by the President, the Defence Secretary and the IGP should be done by him, it is better if he is appointed as the President. He also said that he regrets for working with a team like this and said that he would be already arrested if he didn't have screenshots of calls and WhatsApp messages as proof. He also said that no one has inquired on the intelligence reports since 2015, and he said that if anyone could prove that they have inquired on any of the reports, he will resign from his position. He also said that they have presented 307 reports on Zaharan Hashi. He said that certain people slept and certain people didn't visit the church after the pre-noticing about the attack. He said that everyone now asks him on why he didn't inform. He added that he has informed the Defence Secretary, the Chief of the National Intelligence and the IGP, and also tried to inform the President too. He said that not answering the phone is not his fault. And Nilantha Jayawardena further said that he could sleep peacefully for even today, as he did the maximum that he could do to prevent the attack. Meanwhile, the police officers of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry on the Easter Sunday attacks recorded statements from the former President Maithripala Sirisena today. Even though the Commission notified the former President to arrive at the Commission, he has informed the Commission to arrive at his residence for the process. Accordingly, the police officers of the Commission arrived at the former President's residence located in Colombo today. Statements were recorded from 9:30 in the morning until evening.
And Susil Premachandra has been appointed as the State Minister of Educational Reforms, Open Universities and Distant Education Promotion. He took oaths before President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat today. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and President Secretary P.B. Jasundara were also present at the swearing-in ceremony.
Highway Minister says that the work of the Central Expressway stretch between Kadavata and Mirigama will be initiated on the instructions of the President and the Prime Minister. An advance payment of 16.67 billion rupees has been paid to the contractor yesterday. The Highway Ministry issuing a communique says that though tenders were presented, the construction process of the expressway has been halted for 5 years due to the inefficiency of the government of good governance. The distance of the portion between Kadavata and Mirigama is 36.54 kilometers and the width is 24.4 meters. It is consisted of 4 lanes and flyovers extending to 13.24 kilometers. The estimated construction cost for the project is 158 billion rupees. The loss which was occurred due to the delaying of the construction process by the last government is 25 billion rupees. Minister Johnston Fernando further said that the process of escalating of construction of expressways under the concept Saubhagya Dakma has been taken into action and has announced that this project is planned to be finished within 3 years. Highway Minister Johnston Fernando said that the government has paid 16.8 billion to the contractor. He further said that they initiate the construction process soon and will first end the construction work between the Kadavata and Mirigama stretch of 36 kilometers within 3 years. He also said that the cost of the project has been increased due to the non-functionality of the then government.
And President Gotabaya Rajapaksa points out on the possibility of opening a new inclusion into foreign exchange generation by including Kittul and Palmyra also as a major export crop. He made this observation at a discussion at the President's office on the future program of the State Ministry of Coconut, Kittul, Palmyra and rubber crop promotion and other related industries and export diversification. The President has focused attention of the officials on the need to prepare a speedy program for promotion of Kittul and Palmyra cultivations and to eliminate relevant impediments. He has also pointed out the need to sternly implement the law to prohibit cutting of palmyra trees. Sri Lanka's annual coconut production is 3 billion nuts. Out of this number, 1.8 billion nuts are being used for local consumption. The President has pointed out the need to enhance exports. Land identified by the Land Utilization Department, including barren lands, will be reused for cultivation purposes. Head of the Presidential Task Force on Economic Rejuvenation, Basil Rajapaksa, said at the discussion that 4 million coconut saplings are to be planted in the month of September. He also said that utilization of hybrid seeds would enable to secure a higher output. Plans are underway to increase annual income from rubber export to $2,000 million this year from the current income of $600 million. New rubber varieties will be introduced. Basil Rajapaksa also said that a methodology should be diversified for rubber imports as well. Minister Ramesh Pathirana, State Minister Arundhika Fernando and President's Secretary P.B. Jayasundara were among those who were present at the meeting. And Venerable Ale Gunawangsathira says that what is needed to be done is not to amend the existing constitution, but to draft a new constitution. These opinions were expressed when a group of representatives of the Yuthukama organization met the Venerable Thera today. A delegation of the Yuthukama organization comprising parliamentarian Gavindu Kumaratunga has called on Venerable Gunawangsathira at the Dharmayatana in Bauddha Lokamawatha, Colombo 7. A meeting between State Minister of Solar, Wind and Hydropower Generation Project Development Duminda Disanayaka and other representatives of the Small-Scale Hydropower Generators Society and Solar Power Industrialists Association took place at the Ministry yesterday. State Minister Dayasri Jayasekara engaged in an observation tour at the Laksala showroom in Bauddha Lokamawatha in Colombo yesterday. He said that measures will be taken to safeguard handicrafts and other creations of local entrepreneurs. State Minister of Samurdhi, Microfinance, Self-Employment, Business Development and Underperforming State Asset Development Shyam Semasinghe engaged in an inspection tour at the Department of Samurdhi Development yesterday.
Retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne said that they will create an environment where citizens can live a peaceful, happy and respectful life. Retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne expressed these views in the occasion of assuming duties as the Secretary for the State Ministry of Internal Defence, Home Affairs and Disaster Management, which was held at the District Secretariat Office in Narayanpeta. Clergy was also participated at the event, blessing the new Secretary. State Minister of the Internal Defence, Home Affairs and Disaster Management Ministry, Chama Rajapaksa, was also present at this occasion. Retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne said that legal actions should be taken against corrupted officials of government institutions. He said that so many brilliant officials are in those institutions, but also several corrupted officials are also amid them. He also said that the hard work which was done by spending valuable time by the good officers are all defamed by the actions of the corrupted. He further said that while eradicating the menaces of the society, including organized crimes, drug rackets and ransoming acts, they should eradicate the internal menaces of officers in government institutions. He also said that there is a major issue if internal officers are also corrupted in this manner, and also said that they will be able to pronounce the menace as ended if only when they could take legal action against the last corrupted official.
Coronavirus situation in the country, the National Action Centre for the Prevention of the Spread of COVID-19 pandemic says that the total number of fully recovered COVID-19 patients in the country currently stands at 2,819. This is a percentage of 94.53. 10 inmates at the Kandakadu Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre were found to have contracted the COVID-19 disease today. The other patient detected has arrived from Kenya. The number of patients undergoing further hospitalization treatment stands at 151, and this accounts to 0.4%. So far, a total of 32,800 persons have successfully ended quarantine. 7,058 patients are undergoing quarantine in 65 centers. The total number of PCR tests carried out in the island so far stands at 211,090. The International Atomic Energy Institute has handed over a COVID-19 testing equipment to the medical faculty of the Colombo University yesterday. This facilitates conducting 2,000 tests. The value of the equipment is $118,000. 102 stranded passengers in Frankfurt have arrived in the island this morning. Another 17 stranded in Doha, Qatar, and 21 in Dubai have also arrived in the island at dawn today. All of them were subjected to PCR tests at the airport and later directed to quarantine. Another group of stranded in Doha, Qatar has also arrived in the island from the Matala Rajapaksa International Airport this morning. The group included 273 persons.
And in other local news, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has handed over letters of appointment to 35 secretaries of state ministries today.
The new appointees are as follows. DPG Kumarasiri, Secretary to the State Ministry of Estate, Housing and Community Infrastructure Development. SDAP Puralassa, Secretary to the State Ministry of Land Management and the Development of State Enterprise Land and Property. KDS Ruan Chandra, Secretary to the State Ministry of Cooperatives, Sales Promotion and Consumer Protection. M.N. Ranasinghe, Secretary to the State Ministry of Fertilizer Production and Supply, Chemical Fertilizer and Pesticides Regulation. S.T. Kodikara, Secretary to the State Ministry of National Heritage, Performing Arts and Rural Skills Promotion. N.H.M. Chitrananda, Secretary to the State Ministry of Skills Development, Vocational Education, Research and Innovation. H.K.D.W.M.N.B. Hapuhin, Secretary to the State Ministry of Samurdhi, Microfinance, Self-Employment, Business Development and Underperforming State Asset Development. Tissa Hevavithana, Secretary to the State Ministry of Coconut, Kithul, Palmyra, Rubber Cultivation Promotion and Related Industries Promotion and Export Diversification. M. Devasurendra, Secretary to the State Ministry of Aviation Services and Export Zone Development. M.A.B.V. Bandaranaike, Secretary to the State Ministry of Rural Industries Promotion relating to cane, brassware, clay and furniture. S.H. Haris Chandra, Secretary to the State Ministry of Dharma Schools, Bhikkhu Education, Piriven and Buddhist Universities. S. Arumenayagam, Secretary to the State Ministry of Foreign Employment Promotion and Market Diversification. S. G. Vijayabandhu, Secretary to the State Ministry of Rural and Regional Water Supply Project. S. Sena Naika, Secretary to the State Ministry of Livestock, Animal Husbandry Promotion and Milk and Eggs Related Industries. A. Sena Naika, Secretary to the State Ministry of Postal Services and Media Professionals Development. G.C. Karuna Ratna, Secretary to the State Ministry of Prison Reforms and the Rehabilitation of Inmates. K.H.D.K. Samarakone, Secretary to the State Ministry of Solar, Wind and Hydropower Generation Project Development. D.D. Matra Arachi, Secretary to the State Ministry of Warehouse Facilities, Terminals, Port Facilities and Shipping Industries. Professor Ranjit Disanaka, Secretary to the State Ministry of Rural Roads and Other Infrastructure Facilities. A.K.W.W.K. Veerasekara, Secretary to the State Ministry of Indigenous Medicine Promotion, Rural and Ayurveda Hospital Development and Community Health. R. Sunetra Gunawardana, Secretary to the State Ministry of Batik, Handloom and Local Government Industries. K.M.S.D. Jayasekara, Secretary to the State Ministry of Women and Child Development, Preschools and Primary Education, School Infrastructure and Education Services. W.B. Palugaswava, Secretary to the State Ministry of the Development of Infrastructure of Settlements and Waterways in the Mahawali Zones. D.L.P.R. Abheratna, Secretary to the State Ministry of Sugar, Cane, Maize, Cashew, Pepper, cinnamon, cloves, betel and related cultivation promotion and export promotion. K.R. Udwavala, Secretary to the State Ministry of Pharmaceutical Production, Supply and Regulation. J.M. Tilakaratna Banda, Secretary to the State Ministry of Estate Renovation, Tea Factory Modernization and Tea Export Diversification. L.L.A. Vijay Siri, Secretary to the State Ministry of Grain, Organic Food, Vegetables, Fruits, Chilies, Onions and Potato Cultivation and High-Tech Agriculture. R.M.A. Ratnayaka, Secretary to the State Ministry of Finance, Capital Markets and State Enterprises Reform. D.D. Arya Ratna, Secretary to the State Ministry of Agrarian Tanks and Reservoirs, Close to the Paddylands and Irrigation Development. Kirti Ranjit Abe Sirivardhana, Secretary to the State Ministry of Rural Housing and Construction Material Industries. S.M.D.L.D. Alwis, Secretary to the State Ministry of vehicle regulation, passenger bus transport services, railway compartment and motor vehicle industries. Dr. M. Upali Sedara, Secretary to the State Ministry of Educational Reforms, Open Universities and the Promotion of Remote Educational Services. Retired Major General W.P.P. Fernando, Secretary to the State Ministry of Forest Protection, Elephant Fences and Trenches Construction, Reforestation and Forest Resources Development. Jayant Chandra Soma, Secretary to the State Ministry of Ornamental Fish, Freshwater Fish and Shrimps Production, Fisheries Harbour Development, Multi-Day Fishing Vessels Affairs, Fish Exports. Ravindra Samaravikrama, Secretary to the State Ministry of Rural and School Sports Infrastructure Development.
Colombo Crime Division has seized 42 kilograms of heroin and several weapons which were hid in a house in Abatale today. The raid was carried out from the information received by two henchmen of Angodo Lokha, who was arrested yesterday at the Katnaik airport while planning to flee to Dubai. 42 kilograms of heroin was found at the house of one of the henchmen of Angodo Lokha. The crime division said that this was the first time weapons were found with heroin. Meanwhile, an individual who administered financials of one of the suspects arrested at Katnaika has been arrested today by a tip-off received to the Navagamo police. The individual is a resident of Vellampitia. 32-year-old suspect has possessed more than 3 kilograms of various drugs, 2 modern vehicles, 4 mobile phones and several ATM cards issued by various banks. 2 suspects have been arrested while packaging heroin at a house in Suwarapola, Piliandala by tip-off received to the Moratumulla police. 75 grams of heroin has been seized. The suspects were a married couple of ages 39 and 43 residing in Moratumulla. The racket has been carried out in a rented house at Piliandala. An assistant of a henchman named Aswar of an organized criminal named Kesilawate Denuka has been arrested today in Uswatike Yava by the Pamanua police. The suspect named Suresh Kumar is a resident of Mattakulia. More than 2 kilograms of drugs were seized in possession with the suspect.
And the secretary of the Ape Janabala Party, Venerable Vedinigam Vimalatisatera, said at a special media briefing today that nobody had incarcerated him. Secretary of the Ape Janabala Party, Venerable Vedinigam Vimalatisatera, said that he has no permanent place to live and that nobody could abduct him. He further said that Venerable Ratanathera is his political guru and added that such a person has no need to imprison him. He said that the party dispute is a problem inside the family. These problems need not be resolved through conflicts or weapons. He said that he is eagerly awaiting to resolve the problem peacefully. Meanwhile, a group of members of the Ape Janabala Party has met the officials of the Election Commission and requested to name the president of the party, Saman Pereira, for the nationalist MP position. And in news from the sporting world, Dinesh Chandimal was able to score the highest runs for an inning at a domestic first-class match of the Inter-Club Premier League cricket tournament today. He scored 354 runs in 391 balls. The predecessor of the record of the highest runs in a domestic first-class match was Kitruan Vitanage. Dinesh Chandimal expressed his views for the media after the match. Dinesh Chandimal said that he is happy about his achievement for scoring 354 runs, which is not an easy task. He also said that this is a result of hard training before and after the tournament.
Prima Kotumi. Stay safe, eat hot.
And that's it for tonight's news. To watch us tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.